It's up to you.
Hey! Oh, here he is.
Nice to see you.
John Frusciante.
Can you turn on the light?
Zit hij weer?
John Frusciante was van december 1988 tot mei 1992 de gitarist van de Red Hot Chili Peppers. Frusciante was daarmee de opvolger van gitarist Hillel Slovak, die in 1988 aan een overdosis drugs overleed. De Red Hot Chili Peppers waren John Frusciante's eerste band. Toen hij in 1989 tijdens de Uitmarkt in Amsterdam zijn Nederlandse podiumdebuut maakte, was hij net 19 jaar. John Frusciante werd geboren in New York, maar groeide op in Los Angeles, waar hij naar eigen zeggen zijn jeugd doorbracht met masturberen en gitaarspelen. Zijn grote helden waren Frank Zappa, Captain Beefheart en Jimi Hendrix, wier platen hij met de gitaar eindeloos naspeelde.
I used to be like, in 7th grade I would walk into music stores and just everybody would think I was an amazing guy because I was about this tall and I could play all these Hendrix songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Als jonge tiener maakte Frusciante de punk-explosie in Los Angeles van dichtbij mee. Op zijn 15e zag hij voor het eerst een optreden van de Red Hot Chili Peppers en was meteen diep onder de indruk. Dit was wat hij ook wilde. 3 jaar later werd de droom van de jonge getalenteerde gitarist werkelijkheid. De fan werd bandlid. En wat voor een.
I think he's dealing with it pretty well because he doesn't really care about money or anything and he just accepts that he's in a popular band. It's just, that's just the way it is. All the girls want to fuck him. Everybody wants to be his friend or whatever. But he just sits in his house playing guitar all day.
Freaky Frusciante, zoals hij vanwege zijn grillige gedrag ook wel genoemd werd, ontpopte zich niet alleen als gitarist, maar ook als medesongschrijver tot een belangrijke, zo niet onmisbare schakel in de band. Zijn aandeel in de definitieve commerciële doorbraak van de groep was misschien wel groter dan hij in interviews kon of mocht toegeven. Op 7 mei 1992, midden in een Japanse tournee, deelt John Frusciante de overige Peppers mee dat hij de band wil verlaten. Zeg maar dat ik gek geworden ben, laat hij manager Lindy Guts weten. De volgende dag heeft hij zijn koffers gepakt en zit hij al op het vliegtuig terug naar L.A. De andere 3 bandleden verbijsterd achterlatend. Sinds dat moment wordt in de popmedia niets meer van John Frusciante vernomen. Hij zou een teruggetrokken bestaan leiden ergens in Los Angeles en zou problemen hebben met een heroïneverslaving. Via tussenkomst van een wederzijdse vriend, Dick Root, sporen we hem op in Venice, Californië, in het huis van Johns vriendin Tony. In het woongedeelte van het eenvoudige 2-kamerappartement treffen we tussen de stapel cd's een proefpersing aan van Frusciante's soloalbum, dat binnenkort uit zal komen.
Thanks, sweetie.
Ja, Ghost? Nee, maar...
How have you been?
Good. Slipped into a dimension there.
What?
Slipped into another dimension there. Turned into an interviewer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. It's true. We already said hello, and now I'm saying hello again with the camera rolling and asking you how you're doing.
Good.
Yeah. You've been writing some songs?
Ever since I was 9, when I first started, I was really mad at this guy who was
it was my last time ever playing a sport, baseball, and this guy who I thought was a real jerk, I sat in the outfield and made up a song about how I thought he should die. So I went home and I filled up a tape with 45 minutes worth of songs. And ever since I've been writing songs, lately I've been writing a lot. I write a lot in notebooks, like I go through like a notebook every couple of weeks. And just do writing of all kinds, movie scripts, just stuff off the top of my head, like mathematics, all sorts of things.
Do you remember any of those songs that you wrote when you were 9? That song about the guy?
No.
Oh.
I know that one was called Fuck You to Jose.
But you wouldn't know how to play it anymore now?
No, all my songs back then were played like this. But I assumed that I was tuned so that sounded like this. But I have no way of knowing. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Oh.
But yeah, I drew up a little single that had a guy stage diving like upside down in the air, and our single had 5 songs, like the LA punk rock group Mad Society did, who had a 9-year-old singer. But the single was never made. So those songs are just flying around the universe.
Would you mind playing some stuff from that you recently wrote?
Sure. But like when I do shows for this album, I'm gonna do stuff mostly from the age 14 and now. Mm-hmm. So do you mind if I play one from then?
Fine.
Hailing around you has nothing to do with those snakes and fakes they take we give to live. They think they're that, we think they're that. Are we just came from a red pencil, feel it's a sliding wheel. Look at me, we're like pieces of water, we float both seen and unseen. You see, time's the same thing, and I'm living not real. So goodbye, it's a pleasure we've had. That's what you get, that's what you get.
Yeah, that was nice.
Thank you.
Hold me closer, time to dance. I count the headlights on the highway. I lay me down in trees of lady. You had a busy day today. Whoa, hold me closer, time to dance. I count the headlights on the highway. Whoa, I lay me down in trees of lady. You had a busy day today. Whoa, whoa.
So, do you mind talking a little bit about the point when you left the Chili Peppers?
No.
Why did you leave the band?
Because, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons. For one thing, like a year before I quit, like, they knew I wanted to quit. And me and Flea once took a drive to a park after the first 2 months of touring, the American tour, which I was just miserable on. Like, I broke the band code of not bringing your girlfriend along on tour because I just couldn't do it without her. And I was happy whenever I was on stage and looking at Flea or looking at Chad or looking into my amp and looking at at all the shapes of sound floating around. But I wasn't happy with anything else. So me and Flea took this drive to the park after that tour, and we were sitting there, and he said, "Is there anything you like about being in the band?" And I said, "No, there's nothing I like about being in the band at all." And he goes, "Nothing." And then I said, "Nothing except for playing with you. I love you. That's why I'm in the band, because I love playing with you." And he was like, "Oh, well, God, that's no reason to stay in the band if you're not happy." He says that, but then he forgets it, and and then like for a year I was doing it, and then they're surprised when I quit, when he knew even back then that I wanted to quit, But it's just that we were so close to each other, and it's just like his marriage or something, If somebody says they want to break up, you don't keep it in your mind all the time when you're with them. So I enjoyed, Flea, but that's about it. I just, is that enough? Do you need me to say more?
I don't know. You think that's enough?
You have any questions to ask me about it? I mean, I could go into specific things and I could insult people, but
no, we don't. I know, unless you feel like doing that.
No, I've done it enough.
Oh, you are not in public though, have you?
No. This is the first bit of press I've done since I quit the band. Turn around in a circle, slam into my arms. When I joined the band, I couldn't believe that they wanted to be this other thing than they were. Like they didn't think, like I thought of them as huge stars, but to them they weren't famous yet, and they hadn't made it yet, and they wanted to be as big as Aerosmith or whatever, and I couldn't, that was a shock, yeah. But it didn't bother me. I was happy as hell. But I hoped that we would stay at the level that we were at in popularity. So the real shock came when I found out that this record that we had been recording, this music that me and Flea had just gone nuts over for, a few months, was actually going to be in record stores, and there would be a bunch of people going and buying it and then putting it on and listening to that music that we made. It had never occurred to me, literally, I'm serious. It had never entered my head. It was never a thought that went through my head that said, people are going to buy this and listen to it. A lot of people all over the world. Like when I first said it, I said all over the country, and then I realized, Jesus, all over the world. And I said it to Flea 5 different ways, and he was going, yeah. And I was just like, give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. It helped that I was totally located in the dimension that the music existed as energy, and not the place that the music existed as words or as a thing to entertain people. I was just really in a heavy place when we recorded the album. Just like I heard ghosts on the whole record, you know.
You mean in a weird place spiritually?
Yeah, it was just a fun place to be. Like I heard ghosts on the whole record, and I'd always say to people when we were playing it for them, when we were recording them, I'd say, "Don't you hear those ghosts? Listen." And Flea would go, "John, not everybody hears them. Just we hear them."
I remember seeing you in Amsterdam once, and you were real lively and up.
Oh, I wasn't happy at all, man.
No?
No, not at all.
Why not?
Because I didn't want to be there doing press at all. I had to leave like three-quarters of the way into it. I didn't want to go, and Flea was like, "Well, you have to," because normally him and Anthony would have gone, but they made me go with Anthony. And I was just losing my mind. Like, I feel that when you speak about things, you're diarrheaing all over them. You know, you just ruin whatever you're talking about. And I felt like I was diarrheaing all over this art that was really important to me. And I hated being told that I was a rock star. Oh, so I was saying, so Anthony would not, he felt like he couldn't joke around anymore because I was getting so serious because I was so angry about the whole press thing and the whole rock star thing. And then he would have looked like he didn't have any integrity if he would have just spouted off. So it was a really bad combination, you know? And like, he was scared to say anything like he usually did, which was his thing. And so it was just awful.
You mean he was trying to compensate for...
No, he just imitated me.
Oh?
He would just imitate me, so then, you know, because if I say, like, Van Gogh, blah, 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 and then he says, whip out your cock and show it to my mother, like, you know, it doesn't go together.
Ah, I see. No.
Anthony, Velvet Underground.
1, 2, 3.
If you close the door, the night could last forever. Let the sun shine out and say hello to never. All the people are laughing and they're having such fun. I wish it could happen to me. But if you close the door, I never have to see the day again. I never have to see the day again. Once more, I never have to see the day again.
If you're a musician, you're either going to become a cool person or you're going to become, like, you're going to become a good nothing. You're going to know how to be nothing and really understand it, or you're going to be a bad nothing and just a piece of shit. And there's not really any in between if you're a rock star, you know, one or the other.
So what did you think when you heard the news of Kurt Cobain's death?
Dad. Oh, it's death?
Death, sorry.
I cried. I don't know why. I don't like his music or anything. It was awful, you know. But about his baby, I don't want to talk about that.
No.
I just don't think he has very many guts. I just don't see why he wouldn't want to see his daughter grow up, you know. That he wouldn't be excited enough about that to not think of himself. See, that goes back to what we were saying, like, people just start thinking of themselves too much, you know. I don't think it's so much that they become conscious of the world of video and the world of this and that and the world of fame. They just think of themselves, and no matter who you are, whether you're a rock star or you're a garbage man, if you're thinking of yourself all the time, you're not going to be very good at what you do. Or you're not going to be a good nothing. How could you? Like with a baby, you can slam dance. with them when they're 2, and they'll love it. And you can tell them funny jokes when they're 2, and they'll love it. And you can teach them about how everybody's an idiot, and they'll love it. You know, but you know, it doesn't occur to a lot of people how intense that is, how beautiful it is. Everything like my record is dedicated to Clara. That's what it says on the front. Yeah. She's the smartest person I've ever met, in all seriousness.
She likes to kiss Andy, you know. That's her first boyfriend. John got that for her for her birthday. Ah, yeah!
What I was thinking about, you know, when I heard about Kurt Cobain's death, and, you know, we just experienced River Phoenix's death, and before that Hillel Slovak's death. There's this self-destructive thing that happens to people, you know, in this business or something.
Everybody dies. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
No?
For instance, in River's case, I think it's more of a shame that he was doing something he didn't like. I think it's more of a shame that he was born than he died, because he didn't like this life, he didn't like this place, and he's at a better place now. You know, and that's the way. I don't think death is a big deal. I don't care if I die right now. It doesn't mean I'm self-destructive. I really love life, and I think that's the only way to love life. It starts to separate the boys from the men when you see who's got that inside of them and who doesn't. You know, that's when somebody becomes a good musician and the other person doesn't, is because one is all concerned with the future and the past, you know, and one is just right here, right now, excited, you know, and calm. And sad and doesn't give a fuck. Some people are sad and they're like, oh no, this leads to death.
Acteur River Phoenix, bekend van films als Stand By Me, Running on Empty en My Own Private Idaho, was tot aan zijn dood goed bevriend met de Chili Peppers en John Frusciante.
I live underground in this country.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like, you know, the more experimental, you know, level of lifestyle, which is just not as interconnected with business or consuming, just what you need, minimalist, and that's provided me with just a different view on it all.
That was short.
Well, I mean, the problem is that I believe very much in the Native American Indians who really owned this land beforehand, and their idea was that a photo can take your soul. And it scares the shit out of me, too, to be frank.
To be in front of a camera?
Oh, it's so frightening.
Oh.
That's why when I'm on set, I never look at the camera.
Right.
You don't look at the camera.
That's funny.
I'm very frightened right now. I'm dealing with it somehow.
Yeah, you're dealing with it quite well.
But I really am frightened.
Oh.
This is very... yes. A tributary to the Holland imported brewski.
Hops.
Brewski hops yeast. The business always goes for what you do best. And I've just made myself do best in the way I've wanted to. So if they get recognition, like at the Venice Film Festival, the Toronto Film Festival, wherever it is, you know, in France and in Holland, when critics start speaking up and they believe in something, then you have the power to get blowjobs, basically, from the corporate leaders. I mean, I found myself being blown by America's film corporations. It's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah. I come in their fucking lens.
I still want to ask you something about that, what I just said, that self-destructiveness. Because I once talked to Bob Forrest right after he did a big show in Holland, and he climbed up some, I don't know, very high thing, almost fell, and he survived, and he was very crazy.
He was wearing my clothes.
He was wearing your clothes?
That whole tour.
I've wanted to kill myself. I've always been too scared. My life was like sideways rain, just swirls around in the air. Been searching most of my life for anything to believe in. Like a god in love with Stephen, any answer was breathing. It's like my body and soul can't take it anymore. Please somebody help me, I never wanna live no more. It's like my body and soul.
I'll die soon anyways, no one won't have to explain myself.
You serious about that?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned that too during the show. You said, who's afraid of
Dying?
dying? You're not?
No. Not really.
So at some point you expressed, you said, during the show, you said you want to give people their money's worth.
Yeah.
That's your idea.
I don't know. You pay a lot of money, you come see bands, and you can listen to their records. Let's take, for instance, the real rock and rollers. Would you like to end up like Paul McCartney? I'd rather be dead than be Paul McCartney, I'll tell you that. Or Phil Collins, or any of that. And so, you know, just try to... I know it sounds like some melodramatic, ridiculous thing, like trying to be Jim Morrison or whatever, but... Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I read the book, Ladies and Gentlemen, Lenny Bruce, right? When I was 13 years old, all I wanted to do was shoot heroin. Like, that's what I wanted, because that was my idol. And then I found Keith Richards, and I found all these other people, Graham Parsons, all the melodrama that went on through pop culture in America for 20 years. I ate it up, because I didn't have parents, and I didn't have anybody to depend on or to ask questions to. So Lenny Bruce and Graham Parsons and Keith Richards became my role models, right? So
and
then thus if I live like that, it's not me like consciously getting up in the morning, well, I'm gonna drink and I'm gonna take some drugs. It's just me just because it's the way that I grew up, you know? It's the way that I formed my ideas. Boy, where is this going?
A confession, right?
Okay, you want me to say something soulful? Drugs. I'm a junkie and I love shooting up, and that means I'm self-destructive, and you know, is that good enough?
I don't know. Did you feel it was a true statement, or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hold to a disaster. Lure the strong winds tight to a door. Know the crimes that's sticking through. Unfastened belts on your heart. And I've never been very smart, but I connect you with your shadow.
I was wondering about the David Bowie Black Book. What's that? You read that too?
Yeah, and well, I just look at the pictures. I don't read it. I've just always loved looking at pictures of David Bowie. The only stuff I would read is when I was 17 and I would buy coke on the streets every day. I would, whatever days I was starving, so I didn't have money, but I would manage. And days that I couldn't manage, I would like, since I really wanted to do coke, I would just look up all the sections in the Bowie biography that I had in the index where it says cocaine, and then just look up all the parts about cocaine and read them, so I would feel like having coke, you know. But yeah, I'm into looking at the pictures.
Why did you?
That's him and Iggy Pop.
All right. It's a nice one.
They think something's funny.
Why did you want to be on coke so badly then?
Because it's great. Because it made me feel great. And plus, I just thought it was cool. I just thought David Bowie did his coolest stuff when he was on a lot of coke. And that stuff, and that feeling and that image is just the whole reason I got into rock and roll in the first place. Like, bisexuality and drugs were the two things in life that I related to rock and roll in my overall image of it when I was 9 or 10 years old, when I got into punk rock. You know, that was my whole, that was the whole world that I felt within me that wasn't going on around me at school, that made me feel like I had no reason to exist, that in rock and roll, that was part of everyday living, and that gave me a reason to live, to feel like I actually did have a place where other people felt the same feelings for life that I did. And so when I was 17, I had never really done any drugs in my whole life, and moved to Hollywood and decided that instead of practicing guitar 10 to 15 hours a day, which is what I had been doing for 5 years, I was just going to live life and do cocaine and wear makeup every day. I wore makeup every day then. And just, you know, I would go buy it from Mexican guys and be wearing, like, full makeup, you know, and pink pants. And my Mexican guy thought I was cool all the time. Like, I would argue with guys I didn't even know, just like that.
But have you never wondered about this drugs thing, what it is in people, or in somebody like you or others, there's many others, that they have to add this something to their body that changes them and alters them?
Well, every second alters you. Every single thing you've ever seen alters you.
Yeah.
Everything you eat alters you.
Okay, but that's an extreme way of altering yourself.
I don't think so. I think a parent yelling at you is an extreme way of altering yourself. I think somebody kicking you in the thighs who's your one you look up to as being the role model of masculinity. I think that alters you.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're referring to your own parents, or what?
No, not necessarily. Oh. I'm referring to everybody's parents, you know, make some sort of mistakes and have some sort of sense of carelessness when it comes to developing their child's sexuality.
Mm.
And their brain, like, what's considered smart to the world and parents is like memorizing things and doing good in school. And what I've come to find is what smart is being able to trip out, you know? That's using more parts of your brain. That's your subconscious at work. That's lining up thoughts and doing really intense things to your whole existence here and in all your other lives that are going on simultaneously. You know, that's what smart is. Not just memorizing something. A monkey can do that. So drugs just help that. I did it my whole life. Kiss was the first time I really tripped out on music, you know, where it just really took me to a magical place. Mm-hmm. And drugs are just go along with that, you know. Mm. I don't think of it as any sort of heavy alteration that hurts you. It's like, oh, if I snort a line of coke, like, oh God, that was terrible. I wish I hadn't done that in front of you. Oh, awful. Are you okay? I think I'm gonna be okay.
Okay, but now you just said you're shooting up. You're using heroin. I mean, what about that? That's something pretty heavy, isn't it?
People say so. I don't know what that means really. Like, I don't think of it as being any sort of naughty thing or anything.
What does it mean to you?
It's just a way of making sure you stay in touch with beauty instead of letting the ugliness of the world corrupt your soul.
And you don't care if that destroys your body, or doesn't it?
It doesn't destroy my body. I feel great. If I didn't feel great, I'd change the way I live. I'd start running or something. I'd feel great. Have lots of energy. I'm writing all the time, writing music all the time, developing my brain, widening my appreciation of art of all kinds, and being a nicer person. Always working on being a nicer person.
And so it's not a habit that you would want to stop?
No. You know, even if addiction didn't exist, I'd still do it exactly the way I've done it.
Aan het eind van het gesprek laat John een nummer horen van zijn nog te verschijnen soloalbum.
The reason I released my record is because there's not that much good music around nowadays. And that was how my friends convinced me. It's like there's no good music around really now. So like the kids are, even though they're excited about the music that's out, I just think they're settling for something that doesn't have the same vibe as like Da Vinci. Like to me, the really good music, like Jane's Addiction and Jimi Hendrix and you know, just things of that caliber, has the same vibe as Da Vinci in my head. Like there's something in it that ties together all artists from all times, and no bands around now really have it, you know, and this music does, so I released it.
To the avenues that seem to me to defeat you. Did you ever try to hug the sky behind your head? I walk forever sightseeing a screen shuffle me green paint eyes. Head first into a hole in the water, drive side to side like a floating machine. Don't dance into a dream of timeless disintegration. Close with celebration of good things that taste like wine. Sun from a hand that takes into the darkness. To love the pain that my hand rides. I saw your touch hanging on a star. Straight close so far away from the climb. I take the section of introspection to what would be to recline. Hit the pounds underlying, gently ride alongside. Tell your problems to zero. He's got nothing to hide.
Een dag na het eerste gesprek met John horen we van het bestaan van de film Stuff. We gaan terug naar Venice en vragen hem de film aan te kondigen.
This is a movie of a house I used to live in that luckily I stopped living in a few seconds after it went up in flames. And it's a movie made by Gibby Haynes of the historical Butthole Surfers and Johnny Depp, a very good young actor, and kindly made by them, featuring a cameo by John Frusciante and Timothy Leary, and it's called Stuff. And here it is. Da-da-da-da-da.
shadows you were one way ahead to sour through their fake real black cloth. It's a passageway to drive, walk, or run through, or the wind and water could carry you. I expect what didn't happen just now to have just happened. It lifted me up, part of the pouring sky's wine. Embody the trail that's designed by the shadow of never. Forward or up or down, climb the top is the bottom, so there's no rush. And you don't get tired. Just now's when if you burn to freeze what's around you times pretend. Staring at whatever glues itself to the rays of light that balance and move like you do because you do it for them. I've been falling around so long, mistakenly killed for being so thin I could flipped inside out. The song of trash that can rise into fresh new food is clothing, love, so it grooves. I assume that whenever slides and roams around spending life, so you flip each day to the night that holds yourself in position, folding pain tightly so it knows what it means for its silent vows to be all that bleeds. Like me, it knows the sides are what it needs to keep trying, and it didn't mean to be NIAP. My body's light because the weight of whatever's carried me through the weak traps around the free. I've stepped anyway, not fallen like being on my way to be. I'll never go empty, for thanks to FP. Sitting around feels like running, and clouds dangle me from their thighs, widening across where life is here, 'cause my love is crying. I'll share to where I've lost, 'cause I'm a pretend me, and I'm real 'cause I can hit me softly and bleed blood. I can hear 'cause I'm near now and it's far from me. Fall back into the ground, flip dive through its holes. Therein the whole thing. Landing is unimportant as long as I'm giving the thing that swirls like selling dreams to cannabis, telling two to jump three.
A dove is a glove that I wear on my heart, and though I like to dress smart, it doesn't have any part of the world of fashion. And you're there to put me down, and I'm sick of the frowns that follow me around. I would like the sky, but there's no reason why I should say to this world where the nose of a girl is turned up so loud that it raises the clouds. I've never been here, and though you're physically here, you're pushing me away to decay like the day that I loved. There's a girl blabbing nothing outside my window. What do I have to show to a world that's the only way to destroy?
Is to die like a baby boy. I could be happy in infinity of the space in my eyelid, but I know I'm somewhere else where the words on this page would be the scribbly nonsense they are, and it would be real. And I eat my last meal, wish here I could feel, but now I don't even know if I'm real.
I've heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music. goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throne, she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Baby, I've been here before. I know this room, I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. Seen your flag on the marble arch, and love